The arrival, the Galactic Assembly Hall on Nexus Station buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from 47 star systems gathered for an emergency session. The massive chamber, built to accommodate beings of every imaginable form, trembled with tension. Ambassador Crix of the Zalathi Empire coiled his serpentine body around his platform, scales shifting from blue to purple with anxiety. Across from him, the crystalline form of High Counselor Vex hummed at a frequency that made nearby delegates uncomfortable. They had all received the same impossible report 12 hours ago. A single human vessel had entered contested space near the Void Corridor, the most dangerous region in the known galaxy. The area served as a buffer zone between three major empires, each maintaining massive fleets just outside its borders. No single ship had ever dared to enter alone. Until now. Commander Thale of the Corvan Defense Force stood before the assembly, his forearms gesturing at the holographic display floating in the center of the chamber. The image showed a small ship, no larger than a standard cargo hauler, sitting motionless in the heart of the Void Corridor. Its design was unmistakably human, angular, practical, almost crude compared to the elegant vessels of other species. The Corvans had encountered humans only twice in their history, and both times had left scars on their collective memory. The first contact occurred 70 cycles ago, when a damaged human colony ship accidentally jumped into Corvan space. The Corvans, believing themselves superior with their advanced technology and vast armada, had attempted to capture the vessel. What followed became known as the 17-Hour War. That single colony ship, carrying mostly civilians and outdated equipment, had somehow disabled 37 Corvan warships before negotiating safe passage. Not destroyed, disabled. The humans had deliberately chosen not to kill, a mercy that haunted Corvan military doctrine ever since. The second encounter happened 40 cycles later when pirates attacked a human research station near the galactic rim. The Corvans, along with 5 other species, had offered military assistance. The humans politely declined. 3 days later, the pirate fleet of over 200 ships simply vanished. No debris, no distress signals, no explanation. The only evidence was a brief transmission from the research station. Problem resolved. Thank you for your concern. High Counselor Vex's crystalline form pulsed with light as she addressed the assembly. Her species communicated through color and resonance, but translation devices converted her meaning into words others could understand. The vessel has been stationary for 6 hours. It has not responded to any communication attempts. Its weapon systems appear to be powered down, yet none of our scanner technology can penetrate its hull. Ambassador Crix uncoiled slightly, his translator crackling to life. Perhaps they are simply lost. One ship cannot pose a threat to 3 Imperial fleets. His words carried forced confidence that fooled no one. The Drakari representative, a being of pure energy contained within a mechanical shell, flickered with disagreement. You did not fight in the border wars. You did not see what humans can do with just one ship. My people learned that lesson painfully. The border wars had become legend throughout the galaxy. 20 cycles ago, the Drakari Empire had claimed a system that humans had marked for future colonization. The humans sent one diplomatic vessel to negotiate. When talks failed and the Drakari attacked the diplomatic ship, something unexpected happened. The ship didn't flee or surrender. Instead, it broadcast a single message to the Drakari fleet. Please reconsider. When the Drakari continued their attack, the diplomatic vessel did something impossible. It generated a localized space-time distortion that aged the Drakari flagship by 10,000 years in 10 seconds. The mighty warship crumbled to dust while its crew watched in horror from the other vessels. The human ship then transmitted coordinates for renewed negotiations and waited patiently for a response. Commander Thale updated the holographic display. The situation has changed. The human vessel is transmitting now. The chamber fell silent as a human voice filled the space, speaking in perfectly accented galactic common. Greetings to the assembled representatives. I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earthship Persistence. I am here to resolve the territorial dispute in the Void Corridor by your invitation. The transmission paused. I apologize for any confusion. I believe there may have been a miscommunication regarding the meeting time. Confusion rippled through the assembly. Ambassador Crix's scales turned yellow with bewilderment. What invitation? What meeting? High Counselor Vex's form darkened. We sent no invitation. This must be a deception. Captain Chen's voice continued, warm and conversational. I have here Communication Protocol 77 Alpha, sent by your assembly 3 cycles ago, requesting human mediation for the Void Corridor dispute. As specified in the protocol, we have sent 1 vessel to serve as a neutral arbiter. The delegates exchanged glances. There had indeed been a discussion about requesting human mediation, but it had been purely theoretical. The proposal had been drafted but never sent, locked away in the Assembly's quantum-encrypted archives. Somehow the humans had known about it anyway. Captain Chen, High Counselor Vex transmitted, "We must inform you that no official invitation was extended. Your presence here, while interesting, is unauthorized." There was a pause before Chen responded, and when she did, amusement colored her tone. I see. Well, this is embarrassing. However, since we're already here, perhaps we could be of assistance anyway. The Void Corridor has been contested for over 200 cycles. 3 empires have lost thousands of ships and millions of lives over a region that none can safely navigate or exploit. Seems rather wasteful, doesn't it? The Zalathi ambassador's scales rippled with indignation. 1 human ship presumes to solve a centuries-old conflict? This is arrogance beyond measure. Not arrogance, Ambassador. Perspective. Chen's voice remained calm. From our position, we can see all 3 fleets stationed just outside the corridor. The Corvan Third Armada, 417 vessels strong. The Zalathi Imperial Guard, 512 vessels. The Drakari Stellar Division, 391 vessels. Over 1,300 warships, representing roughly 12% of your combined military might, locked in an eternal standoff over a region none of you can use. The accuracy of her numbers sent a chill through the assembly. That information was highly classified, known only to the highest military commanders of each empire. Commander Thale's respiratory vents flared with alarm. How could you possibly know our fleet compositions? The same way we knew about your unsent invitation, Commander. Humans are very good at listening, but we're even better at solving problems. Would you like a demonstration? Before anyone could respond, the human ship began to move. It didn't accelerate like other vessels, building speed gradually. One moment it was stationary, the next it was traveling at velocities that should have torn any ship apart. The Persistence danced through the Void Corridor, navigating gravitational anomalies and quantum storms that had destroyed every other vessel that had attempted passage. The ship's path traced a perfect spiral pattern through the corridor, and, as it moved, it deployed something. Thousands of tiny objects, each no larger than a grain of sand. Within minutes, these objects began to transmit data. Clear, detailed scans of the corridor's interior, revealing mineral deposits worth more than the combined GDP of several star systems, ancient derelict ships containing technology from civilizations lost to time, and stable passages through the chaos. Captain Chen's voice returned, still conversational. The Void Corridor contains approximately 700 trillion credits worth of rare elements, 12 derelict vessels of archaeological significance, and 3 stable transit routes that could cut travel time between your empires by 60%. We've marked everything with navigation beacons that all 3 empires can access. The question now is whether you'll continue fighting over it or share the wealth. The assembly erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted over each other, some demanding proof, others accusing the humans of deception, still others calculating what their share might be worth. Through it all, the small human ship continued its impossible dance through the corridor, mapping regions that had been unreachable for centuries. The demonstration High Counselor Vex called for order, her crystalline form blazing with white light that commanded attention. Captain Chen, even if what you claim is true, 3 empires cannot simply share such resources. There must be administration, security, distribution agreements. These things take time to negotiate. Of course, Chen replied. That's why we're here. The Persistence isn't just a ship, counselor. It's a mobile embassy, equipped with everything needed for extended negotiations. We have facilities designed for all represented species, complete cultural and legal databases for each empire, and 17 trained negotiators specializing in interspecies conflict resolution. We can begin immediately. Ambassador Crix's skepticism dripped from every word. You claim one small ship carries all of this? Impossible. The response came not from Chen but from a new voice, deep and resonant. Ambassador Crix, this is negotiator Marcus Webb. I've studied your people's history extensively. Your third clutch war was resolved through the Treaty of Shifting Sands, which established the precedent of resource sharing based on contribution, rather than claim. A similar framework could work here. Another voice, melodic and precise, added, High Counselor Vex, Negotiator Arya Patel here. Your people's harmonic accords provide an excellent template for multilateral oversight. We've prepared 17 different proposals based on your various legal traditions. The assembly listened in stunned silence as voice after voice introduced themselves, each demonstrating intimate knowledge of the species they addressed. 17 negotiators, as promised, each an expert in their assigned culture. But the ship's manifest showed only one life sign, Captain Chen herself. Commander Thale's tactical mind raced. Captain Chen, our sensors show you are alone on that vessel. How are 17 negotiators speaking to us? Chen's laugh was warm and genuine. Alone, in body, Commander, but never in spirit. The other negotiators are present through quantum consciousness projection. Their bodies are safe on Earth, but their minds are here with me. Distance means nothing when human determination is involved. This revelation sent another wave of shock through the assembly. Quantum consciousness projection was theoretical, at best considered impossible by most species. The energy requirements alone should have been astronomical, yet the humans were doing it casually, as if it were routine. The Drakari representative flickered urgently. This technology, if you can project consciousness across galactic distances, we could do many things, Chen interrupted gently. But we choose to use it for peace. That's what you've never understood about humans. It's not that we can't conquer or destroy, it's that we choose not to. We learned long ago that creation is harder than destruction, that building bridges is more challenging than burning them. That's why one ship is enough. We're not here to fight, we're here to fix. As if to emphasize her point, the Persistence completed its mapping of the void corridor and returned to its original position. The data it had collected was already being transmitted to all three empires simultaneously, complete with suggested extraction schedules that would prevent conflicts and ensure equal access to resources. The Zalathi ambassador studied the data flowing across his personal display. The human proposals were elegant, fair, and accounted for details his own people had never considered. This is comprehensive. But why would humans do this? What do you gain? Stability, Chen replied simply. A galaxy at war is bad for everyone, including us. We've seen what happens when conflicts escalate. Earth's history is filled with such lessons. We nearly destroyed ourselves multiple times before learning to look beyond our differences. Now we offer that hard-won wisdom to others. High Counselor Vex pulsed thoughtfully. You speak of Earth's history as if it were a cautionary tale, yet humans are feared throughout the galaxy. Your technology surpasses ours in ways we don't understand. Why maintain such a small presence? Why not establish an empire like the others? The pause before Chen's response was longer this time, and when she spoke, her voice carried the weight of centuries. Because empires fall, Counselor. Always. The Corvin's Second Dynasty, the Zalathi Star Realm, the Drakari Collective. Your histories are littered with fallen empires. But ideas, cooperation, mutual benefit, these things endure. Humans choose to be the gardeners, not the garden. We plant seeds of peace and watch them grow. The assembly digested this philosophy in silence. It was so different from their own approaches, yet the evidence of its effectiveness floated before them, a single ship accomplishing what their combined fleets could not. Commander Thale, ever practical, raised a crucial point. Your proposals are impressive, Captain, but implementation requires enforcement. What happens when one party violates the agreement? You cannot always be here with your one ship. Actually, we can, Chen replied, and her tone suggested a smile. The Persistence is the prototype of a new class of vessel we call Shepherds. 12 more are already completed, with crews trained and ready. Each can respond to any point in the galaxy within hours. Not for war, but for mediation, assistance, and yes, enforcement if necessary. Though I doubt it will be needed. Why? Crix asked, genuinely curious now. Because the agreements we're proposing include something your treaties never have. Incentive. Escalation. The more you cooperate, the more benefits you receive. Hidden caches of resources we've already located but haven't revealed. Technologies we're willing to share with peaceful partners. Trade routes through human space that could revolutionize your economies. War becomes literally unprofitable when peace pays better. The holographic display changed, showing a web of interconnected trade routes, resource deposits, and technological exchange points spreading across the galaxy like veins of gold. The assembled representatives stared in awe at the transformation of their galaxy from a battlefield to a marketplace. The Drakari representative spoke for all when it said, "You've already mapped all of this? Found all these resources? Planned these routes?" "We've had time," Chen said simply. "While you fought over known resources, we explored the unknown. While you built weapons, we built bridges. While you prepared for war, we prepared for peace. That's why one ship is enough. It carries not weapons but solutions." High Counselor Vex's form shifted through a spectrum of colors as she processed the implications. "You're offering to reshape the galactic economy, to end conflicts that have raged for generations, all through one ship and 17 projected mines?" 18 mines, Chen corrected. "And yes, though if you accept our proposal, it won't be just us. Each empire will contribute representatives to form a joint mediation council. The Persistence and her sister ships will provide neutral ground and enforcement capability, but the decisions will be yours. We're not here to rule, just to help you stop fighting long enough to realize how much better cooperation can be." The Psi assembly fell into contemplative silence. 3 empires that had been enemies for centuries were being offered a path to prosperity that required only that they stop trying to destroy each other. It seemed too simple, too good to be true. Yet the evidence floated before them. A single human ship dancing through impossible space, offering gifts beyond imagination. Ambassador Crix was the first to speak. "I must consult with my government, but I believe the Zalathi Empire would be willing to explore these proposals." Commander Thale nodded slowly. "The Corvan Defense Force sees merit in this approach. We will recommend serious consideration to our leadership." The Drakari representative pulsed agreement. "The energy savings alone from not maintaining our standoff fleet would fund our civilization's growth for decades. We are interested." Captain Chen's voice warmed with genuine pleasure. "Excellent. The Persistence is equipped with diplomatic quarters for extended negotiations. We can begin whenever you're ready. And please bring your own security, your own staff, whatever makes you comfortable. Transparency builds trust." As the assembly began to disperse, each representative hurrying to contact their governments, High Counselor Vex remained, studying the small ship on the display. She transmitted on a private channel to Captain Chen. "You knew we would accept, didn't you? This was never really a negotiation." Chen's response carried a hint of humor. "Counselor, humans learned long ago that the best way to win a fight is to make sure it never happens. And the best way to make peace is to make it more attractive than war. We didn't come here to force anything. We came to show you a better way and let you choose it for yourselves. And if we had chosen differently? If we had attacked?" There was a long pause before Chen answered, and when she did, her voice was soft but carried an undertone of steel. "Then you would have learned why every species that has ever fought humans seriously now counts them as their closest allies. We don't destroy our enemies, Counselor. We transform them into friends one way or another." The transmission ended, leaving Vex to contemplate the small ship that had just changed the course of galactic history. One ship, 18 minds. Infinite possibilities. The human way of war, she realized, was not to fight at all. It was to make fighting irrelevant. And that, more than any weapon or technology, was why one human ship would always be enough. In the days that followed, as negotiations began and ancient enemies sat together at tables aboard the Persistence, the galaxy learned something fundamental about humans. They were not conquerors or destroyers, not empire builders or warriors, though they could be all of those things if needed. They were something far more dangerous to the status quo. They were problem solvers, and in a galaxy full of problems, one ship carrying solutions was worth more than all the armadas ever assembled. The Void Corridor, once a symbol of conflict and division, became the first free trade zone in galactic history. The three empires not only shared its resources but discovered that cooperation yielded benefits none had imagined. Technologies merged, cultures mingled, and prosperity flowed like never before. And at the center of it all, the Persistence remained, a small ship with an enormous impact, proving once and for all that in the right hands, with the right intentions, one ship was not just enough, it was exactly what the galaxy needed.